at Smith's Craft today, catching up with Gcobani, Thami, and Kamo, speaking about fatherhood, brotherhood, and National Men's Mental Health Month. I hope you enjoy this episode.
I was going to say, you sound like a YouTuber.
I am a YouTuber now, technically. Okay, so we'll just be speaking about how, as young men, it's Youth Month, and as young men, as youth, what are you guys doing in your personal lives to, push the envelope and your careers? What is it that you are doing as youth? We know Thami has Smith's Craft. Can you tell us a little bit, Thami, about Smith's Craft?
Okay, let me just give you a synopsis on how it started, I guess. Maybe it just might even inspire someone else. It started in the kitchen at home. We were just selling burgers to friends, close friends, family, and yeah, to just cut the long story short, in essence, we sold a lot of burgers and decided to just move and grow the business, open it here, and have different offerings beyond a burger. Have wings, have ribs, got curry, got mkhodu, a whole lot of dishes. We got wraps now as well, obviously with the offering of alcohol. So yeah, that's how it started, and these gentlemen here also witnessed it. And yeah.
Might we add, we were forced to buy burgers. You can imagine how many burgers sold to friends, and you never bought the cheapest burger. But things are left there, 200 rand. Hectic. But yeah, that's essentially what happened.
Yeah, so that's why I always say, like, Smith is like a communal business, because that's how it started. It was for the community, was empowered by the community as well, and community being close friends, family, customers, the works, yeah. So.
And Gcobani, in your personal life, yes, you are helping and by, adding to your brother's business, but what do you do? Do you wanna?
I've got a, how do you call it? A landscaping business. And then partly as well the steel manufacturing business as well. So my passion lies in manufacturing and putting things together and etc. So that's where it all started from. My background is at home predominantly in business. So fortunately did the whole schooling thing, got to varsity, just to appease the parents. And then after it was done, they gave me an opportunity to go try and see if I could be in business, and it hasn't worked out. But
it's going to work out.
It's going to work out, yes. But we're in it right now and we're moving, and so that's where I am, and every other thing as well. Like constantly interested in business, different avenues. Always meeting up with the guys as well, just to kind of like pick their brains. Because fortunately, everyone here is in like a different space, so it's easy for sometimes for me to sit with a Kamo, for instance, and say to Kamo what's going on, and he'll tell me about his business and where he works and how things are going there, and sit with Thami. And even when I come here sometimes, I don't tell him, I'll just come and just want to max out, because also having seen Smith build up, you also don't want to be that friend that every time you catch it, you want to get like special treatment. So you just want to come, max out, enjoy the place also like everyone else. And if he's here and he's talking to some of his other customers, it's fine. And some of them sometimes we're here to have a good time. So yeah, so that's just briefly about myself and what I'm interested in.
Kamo?
Hey. And Kamo, what?
You guys didn't even introduce yourselves. Sorry. I forgot. Okay, we'll do it.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kamo. Hello, Twala. Known by Twala Cruz. Very, very important.
Your street name?
Yeah. No, not a street name. It's my way of life.
Okay.
It's the way of life.
Yeah. I'll let you know more about it, in the episode. I'm a salesman. Always born and bred salesman. I'm in advertising. I studied advertising, and I work in the out-of-home business, which is billboard, and I sell out-of-home space. And I like just communicating to people, selling ideas, selling products, selling concepts. So yeah, I just like interacting with people. I'm a people's person, you know. So yeah, that's my passion, people. Yeah.
Okay, since people are your passion, Kamo, what is the biggest thing you've seen about male friendships or male communities that you think isn't working necessarily as a space of safety and community?
It's not working.
Yeah.
I think what's not working right now, it's a lot of... Okay, now I'm blank.
Okay, anyone can answer the question. Yeah.
I know.
Can you just repeat the question?
As brothers, as male communities, what is it that isn't working in... We have a problem in society where there's a lot of suicide amongst males, right? And yes, people can't afford therapy, but community has been the one thing that makes sure that people are okay in mental health, right? Mm-hmm. So what is it that isn't working with the friend groups or the spaces or community that people are building that doesn't create that safe space?
I think it's misogyny and male dominance. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. You know, I think we've gotten to a point where we need to understand that the misogyny and male dominance in our community no longer works, you know, because humanity is evolving, you know, and things that if you say you're evolving as a humanity, then certain cultures need to be dropped, you know, and you need to unlearn what you know for the new generation and for the evolution. So going back to what I'm saying as far as male dominance is that it's not working because we're at a point where there's so many factors that contribute to you being a dominant male, right? But it shouldn't really matter that much for you, you know, because like I'm saying, it's no longer about that. You know, the world is moving to on a faster pace and a different generation and a new perspective on life. You know, it's no longer about it shouldn't be about what you have, being the alpha male of the group. Am I making sense?
You are making sense.
Yeah, like it should no longer be about that because there's so many pressures. You know, things have changed. Like you can't be the same male that your dad was.
No.
You can no longer be that. And the quicker you understand that, the better of a man you're gonna be. You know, because you understand that women are also empowering themselves. You know, and you can't be a dominant male. Things in the household are changing as far as responsibilities, you know, gender roles as well, you know, things like that are getting abolished. Things like gender roles. The man now needs to learn how to cook. You know, the reason why a man doesn't want to cook is because they're still stagnant in the gender roles, you know, that were put by or that were placed by our forefathers. You know? So that's how I see it in the community.
A lot of what Thami said relates. I think we'll all share the same sentiment, especially given people who are constantly in each other's lives a lot. You know, there's a lot of this thing of being the alpha male all the time. Unfortunately, you can't even draw the lines in, you know. And even in friendships, when you want to always come across as being the alpha male in the friendships in the clique amongst the guys, you leave. There's just a lot that's going on outside of like just our circle that we can only imagine what you're putting everyone else through. And because the way times are moving and cultures are developing, and we need to be able to make the next person feel as comfortable as they're supposed to be, you can't be wanting to bully your way through a lot of things in life. Unfortunately, where the people we take cue from are the people who've raised us, so they are still very bullish in their ways, and they still want to be celebrated because it's a financial thing or who's doing well and etc. All of those dynamics just really make it difficult for us as friends. So whenever you have friends who are conscious of what's going on in the world, it helps you because it breaks down the walls, you know. It makes it easy for us to all link up at one another's places or wherever and just max out and just want to just sit and do nothing or just talk about issues that we have. Unlike if you look at our parents, our uncles, our grandparents, our forefathers and etc., they dealt with problems in silos. And the only time you had issues as Sekaya coming up is when the females, our moms, our aunts, our grandmothers were complaining to families. And that's where you get wind of it, those kind of dynamics. And that doesn't work anymore. It honestly doesn't work anymore, because right now there's just a lot going on in the world, so you can't even afford to entertain those kinds of thoughts. So as long as we can lean on one another, I think we'll be able to fix a lot that's not working.
You guys spoke about how times have changed and how your fathers were different to, what you need as a father or as a partner right now. So how have you guys, being fathers, taken the role of fatherhood, lessons from your father, but made sure that you are raising children, sons and a daughter, that are conscious of the world that we live in and that are good human beings?
Yeah, well, Thami raised a very solid point, saying, we need to unlearn. A lot of unlearning needs to be done being a father, because we grow up obviously learning what a father is from our uncles, our fathers, and brothers, whatever's around, any male figures around us. And like Gcobani said, our fathers, they went through it also. They went through it, but at the same time, it's unlearning. Right now, it's unlearning and being able to understand that when people give you advice, you listen. One thing as a male dominance is we don't want to hear it. We don't want to listen. We just want to speak. We just want to speak, and not actually listen and actually comprehend what we're actually hearing. So we need to get advice from people. Being a father, you need to speak to your mom about it, not just your father. You need to speak to your aunts about it. You need to speak to your friends about it. I was blessed enough to have a friend who was a father first, and we learned a lot from him. So it's right now we learn a lot from apparently more than anything. We are unlearning, basically. We are unlearning. Yeah.
Do you want to add anybody?
I think pertaining to your question as well is what we need to teach kids now, especially sons, because girls are more expressive than guys, which should be a status quo that needs to be changed. What we need to now, what I've realized as a father is that one thing I want to give my child a platform for is self-expression. Don't oppress your child. There's a hierarchy in life, in anything, right? It's important, but we've learned the worst hierarchies. You know what I mean? And when you think of the hierarchy, so I was talking about how conflicted cultures and rules of family rules are. You get in one family, you looking down when you're getting shouted at is a sign of disrespect, but in another, you looking down is a sign of respect. You looking into your parents' eyes whilst they're shouting at you. In some families, it's a definite no-no. You know what I mean? So one thing I've learned and I've had to unlearn is what I know. As far as family values go, as far as hierarchy in a family goes, it's allow your child to be expressive, in the most respectful manner, but it shouldn't be a hierarchy as anything in pair. It's when you're talking to dad, this is how you need to talk to dad. You're talking to mom, this is how you need to talk to mom. I think that's the reason why we're in the calamity that we are as black people. Generally, shit, my girlfriend needs to take the pill. Sorry, damn it. Shit, I need to call her. Sorry. It's too much, hey, get smooth.
I will catch.
Yeah, we will catch.
I also say, when I look at that, I'm like, that's why there comes a point in you must check people about the
Yeah.
There's successful people, right? And once you understand their journey, they've always been those people that were hustling.
Yeah.
And then there's people that are waiting for a pension.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in life, and they've got a job, they're comfortable.
Yeah.
It's fine, you know. And then there's people that are just useless, you know.
And said like Namanda Watana useless.
Yeah.
Makona Namanda
Yeah.
Mutomas in the family for the last 20 years, but now you can see
It's useless.
Yeah.
I don't wanna end up
Like that.
I don't wanna end up like that.
Hello.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how it starts is that you need to start working in your 20s to 30s,
Yeah.
so that you can live comfortably in your 40s to 50s. You know what I mean?
When he said that to me once, and I was
Yeah.
like complaining about how my life is not where it's supposed to be. I was 25. It was supposed to be, and you're like, you're gonna be fine. At 40, you're gonna be fine.
And you're gonna coast. You know, I was at Rockets. Remember that day when I said I was gonna get some? Bro, I was at Rockets with chilling with Sean. Rockets. Dog, Sean, his business is.
Shunubani.
That's
Oh,
what
the
that owns
owner.
Rockets.
Yeah.
No, that guy's doing so fucking well. And
Yeah.
it was like conversations with him. Like we'll talk about like random things or like sports, soccer, occasionally girls. Umchalang a fraud, so we'll laugh about that. But over the weekends, dog, personality switch. Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
Listen, like, he's a
Gucci guy.
He's a
There you
Gucci
go.
guy. And
I never really
I see
bumped into him the last time I was there.
and you're
couldn't even
like,
talk
bro,
to him.
and you're like, dog,
What's
is this
going
you?
on?
And you look at his friends, all of them. That's when I realized that this thing of Gucci, these labels, is not hitting the top, it's hitting the
The
bottom.
bottom.
It
The
is
people
the
at the
bottom.
top don't care.
They don't.
People are not
care.
phased.
They
Like it
don't.
doesn't,
They don't.
like dog. Those guys, those are not. At a Villa restaurant, and he was telling me about how he went away with his wife on holiday, and he saw a nice jacket, and the jacket was like 28K. He was like, dude, I debated for like 3 hours. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, before buying.
Before this buying, but I was like, cause I'm away, thing is spoiled.
Yeah.
And it's like his wife bought a purse, and the purse was like 19. And it's like, dude, I couldn't fathom how. But she's my wife. I got kids with her. It was fun. But inside, being a nigga, I was like, this is so expensive.
Why?
And you understand that and these are people that, even as guys, because we're in business, you like to associate yourself with people who are doing fairly well.
Yeah.
Because you feel like it's the law of attraction, you know?
Yeah.
If I sit with all the people who are doing pretty well, now means it's on Sunday. Like, and also, even outside the law of attraction, you just learn more from them. Because what Thami
we
was
need to
saying,
learn.
and
Yeah.
when you're unlearning, you're going from learning endlessly, then you get experiences with people on the outside. And you realize that these are people who are comfortable, people who are fine. These people talk about their school fees bill monthly, but 40,000. What you dog? Where do you kids go to school, buddy? But naturally,
Honestly.
but the same person cries about something that's less than 30,000 rand, or you know, that's
Yeah.
the disparities of life. Good
Yep,
What's
yep.
going on right now is hitting the bottom, not the
Yeah,
top.
not the
Yeah.
top.
And because there's so many people at the bottom, it seems like it's normal.
Yeah.
And that's also what I don't like, is that because
That's worrisome
the masses
as well.
are down here and all of them,
Worrisome.
because Kamo Tegle Gucci asimrate.
Which is nonsense.
Like,
And they won't rate you.
Oh.
Or
And
you're
that's
not driving-
nonsense.
And I was like,
You know,
what?
And you're like, what? That time Kamo's daughter's dressed.
She's fed.
No, she's fed. He's fine.
He's
What,
fine.
Full tank, you know?
Yeah.
Like literally, or you don't have a car, you're not a. You're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Oh, what do you mean?
This,
Do I need
It's
a
Uber.
In this economy, do you even need
It's
a
this economy. Exactly.
It's just like,
Like, you know, crazy. After the hijacking, fortunately, they made, we had to sort out another month, so we got the car. And dude, I was so conflicted for like 3 weeks. I'm like, you can't. But at the same time, I'm like, we need it because there's kids that
Yeah.
can go to
Yeah,
school.
the
There's like,
social state of the
like
country.
it's. There was like I was so
Crime.
conflicted.
Nami
There's
no
crime,
mama, they
there's
just stole her car in April.
dog.
You see,
so
yeah.
literally, and you say
You
to yourself,
see.
I don't want a car, but at the same time, like because of my livelihood, I need a car.
I
'cause
need
to
a
be
car.
mobile.
Yeah.
So then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, let's get a car. You then get the car, you're like, oh
Yo.
yeah, it's nice. But you look at the payments, you're like, fuck.
Yo,
no way.
yeah, dura lento le petrol maintenance.
Installment, and then you say to yourself, then there are people who have nice cars who must make you feel inferior. No way.
That doesn't even make sense.
No, it's
Never.
nonsense. It's a culture that needs to change. It
Will
really
it
needs
change?
to change.
That's my issue. Will
But I think it's
You know-
because we came from
Nothing.
apartheid and now we just in freedom. We're in the phase of freedom. And with freedom,
people are freedom.
No, but I think we need to understand what freedom is. you
no,
know?
but we didn't know what freedom was,
We
Tammy.
still don't know.
Yeah, we still-
We're navigating.
still
I think
don't.
right now we're just like seeing what freedom is. Some people are realizing that shit, this Gucci wasn't worth it. You know,
Yeah.
the one wasn't worth it.
Well,
They're
you actually had a
realizing
Gucci.
that.
You had a Gucci sneaker.
I've got
Yeah,
two.
but you know,
I've got two,
no,
and
no
when
problem.
I realized that it wasn't worth it, like recently, dog. Like I was packing my stuff away, because so they moved in Madrid. So I was
Yeah.
packing like stuff out, so they were in the boxes. So I took them out and my mother was like, yo, what are you gonna do with these shoes? You wanna give them away? I said, are you mad? It's like, you don't wear them. I'm like, actually you're right, because like at the time when I got them, because I really liked them. I was like, shit, they dope. Got the white one, got the black one. But now I sit there and I look at these shoes.
Got the black one.
Yes, do you know why also I can't wear
with the red?
Yes, exactly the same. Just black.
That's dope.
The reason I also can't wear them because I can't wear them because I'm just comfortable in them. The next person says, oh, Shaik, what you think you're better?
Yeah.
Mate, no.
That's also another
Like I like the shoe. I think the shoe's very nice. It's very, very comfortable. The canvas is. But now, every time I've worn it, you get a comment from either someone you know or even someone random, dog, like pointing, and you're like, oh, this defeats the purpose
also,
from this.
But also, like, you also want to get somewhere in your life, and I think that kind of like puts you back a bit, because the person you seek help from sees you wearing a Gucci.
Gcobani,
Like, why are you driving me?
No, it needs to die, without a doubt, right?
Yeah.
But we also need to know like that there's affluent brands, you know, and you need to get, in order for you to get to that point where you're purchasing it, your pocket or your bank account needs to speak that same language, you know. The moment it doesn't, we've got a problem, and that's where the society, it's how our society is right now. It's a big problem. That you're rocking something that's worth 10 to 15K, but your savings are that amount in essence, you know.
Or less. They don't exist. They don't exist.
Meaning that there's no financial education, not taking the bad way.
No trust.
But financial education in black society is not there. Myself, not me.
We all
of us, we've all made financial mistakes.
Yeah, mistakes where you're buying a shoe with 10K, or even when I buy Pate one, it doesn't exempt me because me nang buy Pate Z5 at the same time. I've bought the same sneakers.
I can attest to
the same sneakers, black sneakers, and I bought like about 4 or 5 pairs of them. You know what I mean? And when you quantify that, it quantifies to one sneaker. So there's that. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like financial education is imperative.
But I think it starts at home, dog. You know, like for me, the financial education starts at home. Like, I am now in a position where I can say, like, black people don't know how to run businesses. Given the space that I'm in, black people don't know how to run businesses. Black people can't run a business successfully because their measure of success is, I'll make 100,000 every month. My expenses are 150,000. And to society, because I'm driving in the street, you think I'm nice, but back at home in the ranch, good heads, and you then ask yourself, Guti. You literally find yourself in a position to say, do I pay for a car, do I pay for groceries? Like, it's real. And the older I've become, and having been exposed to just various business people on various levels, because of also, the unfortunate thing about also being black in business is that you gravitate towards the blacks first. Like, I stick with Muntoso Matende, and I want to see how they're doing it, and etc. And in sticking there, I see the skeletons, the cracks, and know what's going on. And I can understand, like, guys, this is not sustainable business. And it also goes back because of we want to show out there. And forget about showing. Like, at the end of the day, like, reach a point of self-actualization, I think, on the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Just get to a place of contentment and be fulfilled. Fuck the car. You know, like, if you've got kids especially, sorry, excuse my fruity language, like, course, right more to take care of the family, take care of the wife, take care of the kids, like, you know, rather be that person. There will be something left over for you, and you'll take care of whatever makes you feel good and etc. But for now, don't do it because it's also part of the problem.
Definitely. That something left over is that fulfillment. You know, from doing all those good things. Because trust me, after swiping that 5K bottle, you know, especially if your balances are not good, you don't get fulfillment in the morning. But you know, making sure your kids is in school, making sure your partner's happy, making sure that ending go right, those are fulfillments, you know. You know, especially 100%. For myself, you know, being a daughter, I know that, you know, making her happy is fulfillment for me. I know it's sometimes, you know, this thing of showing out is normal. We are humans, you know, we want to show out and look cool and whatever. But, you know, self is definitely taking care of your family.
It hits different.
Self
hits different.
True.
Like professional.
And that's why influencers now are like shaky. Because it's like you're not relatable.
No, you're not relatable.
Because you've now reached this saturated level.
That is why they're all dating married rich men. Yeah.
Hey,
Well, allegedly.
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 But you can't blame them. There's a small group of married rich men in South Africa, hey?
yeah. There's just a small amount of
There's a
rich
small
men.
amount of rich men in SA.
No, you have to.
You have to.
Why even join rich men only?
I don't understand.
They don't believe in you.
Because Kamo, I think they want to live a lifestyle that you cannot provide. You can provide it for it maybe in the next 10 years. 10 years.
They want it now.
Louis Vuitton in 10 years.
Like you're so
I'm 20.
Short-sightedness.
Like that's how girls are. Like who's gonna say I have a Louis Vuitton now? You can be with a guy and you can see Gucci. He's not where he is, where you want him to be, but you can see you know how they speak about the potential now. Like potential is like a negative word with women now.
Yeah.
Potential is such a positive word. Like he has potential.
You wasting my time. Potential. I need someone.
Potential has changed to be a negative connotation
But
where
also,
we
like,
thought.
It's actually a good way of actually winding this conversation back to the topic. Is that like men are under so much pressure now.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure.
Like we're under siege. Like we're at war. We're honestly at war because I'm just dealing with myself. I'm not dealing with my peers who are hella toxic. I'm not dealing with females because I've got a liking towards someone and I'm constantly every day trying to strategize how I can get this person's attention. My family, my work environment, where I'm staying, is it socially acceptable?
Yeah.
Like there's just so much that is going on.
Let's go. We're on the day to day. We're running errands. I'm there. We can. Oh, you hungry? Let's go to McDonald's. Let's go to KFC.
You know, some.
No.
I think that comes with time as well.
It does come with time. I think as guys, we get there quicker than females get there.
I don't think so. I think you guys have the notion of, because of how society already is telling you that you guys are supposed to, fend for or impress, like,
No, but I think it's also because of your standards more than anything. You can't overlook that. Women have standards.
Yeah.
And I can never, for the life of me, take you on a date to KFC. I know we're going to wherever, but I need to buy wings. You will judge me based on that.
And I must get to where we're going, and I must buy caviar. Because
that's true.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think, I had this conversation with my mom. I was like, he might watch this, so I don't know if I can say this. But maybe I'm too far and no one can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, so my uncle's dating this woman. Building. My mom said, if you're building with a person, or build a night, or
when do you get to that point?
Very early. You can see who. Very early, you can see who you're building with.
No, I don't think.
But I'm not saying that don't go out and go on a date.
Yeah.
But I get weird for breakfast and then you go for lunch as well. 2 restaurants.
Yeah, I know.
But have they done that? Do they do that all the time?
Probably not.
You see, so it's like one of those things. We also need to understand.
No, but Tola,
we need to understand one thing, guys. Fantasy is jabulise.
No,
but not like that.
No,
but not recklessly where.
No.
What recklessly now you say?
First of all, we got something. We got. Well, the reason why we're doing this because maybe the brother. It's like getting an Uber Black when you're going on a date.
Why?
Like, I'm dressing up. I wanna look good. I wanna, we wanna make this
I don't agree
special.
with that.
First of all,
I don't.
The spa voucher was a gift, so already, let's say really 1,000 rand on that spa voucher.
Yeah, but when you're not supposed to be there.
Like, hey, cool. Yeah, but like, hey, let's make it a special day. Let's make it a special day.
Yes.
For that day.
For that
day.
Let's make it a special. If it continues, then it's a problem.
But that's what I'm saying. Like being.
But if you use a day and you use a day to just say, you know what, let's just live good and be happy.
No, that's
that's okay. Because honestly, that sounds like a really lovely date.
But you can't constantly.
But it's for me, it's like how I see it as a constant. It's not that type of a day, right? Like a how train 2 restaurants in one day type of a thing. But it's the little things where you see that this is a constant in this type of relationship. Like where you are now compromising yourself financially for a person. Do you understand?
Every week. No, that is taking yourself out and your partner.
Yeah.
Right? But trust and believe, my girl cooks as well.
That's
that's someone. But that's going back to what she's saying.
Why you say my
is,
girl cooks? Why not we cook in the?
No.
Like,
I'm talking about. I need to because obviously I'm the one.
Kind of like general, Thami. General.
Like I cook as well. At the end of the day, like I also just want to feel like masculine. I pay for the dates. I take her out. I do this. But it's kulmela mumuntu cabangela. Partner, you understand? The partner yako needs to be like, no,
tell you building a life.
Yeah, your partner needs to be like, no, let's not go out, man. Let's just pega papa ni force. You know, like be real. Like again, it's definitely another problem with our generation is that we've lost realism. We've lost
reality.
Yeah,
we're living in this bubble.
You go to a restaurant, de la parada, and you wanna. My word, you wanna order a bottle of champagne. That's expensive.
When you can go to the bottle store and buy it for 1 point.
Also, why are we having a bottle of rich like Justin J and Lini? You just why? Justin. No, like they need to be.
If the occasion allows,
we can do it. And it's an occasional thing.
Yeah.
But now what we've done as our peers is that we've now measured an occasion as the norm.
Yeah.
Now it's become normal.
Every week.
Every week now when we go out, we must get 3 bottles. No, there's no need for it. Sometimes we can just go out and have a meal each at 150 rand a meal each and have like 2 drinks or beers. Just like have beers. And that's that, and eat, and then small talk, and then laugh, catch up, and then we part ways. We've just made like living in a bubble, like your daily occurrence with life and your interaction with life with people, because everywhere you're going, unfortunately, the reason I can say this, and I can, because probably some like, no, you're wrong, is that part of the life is documented and we get to see it. And everything that you document, there's 10 things you document, we get to see 1. So basically that one that you're showing me on whichever platform, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, that's the one that matters to you the most. And if it becomes a common occurrence that every week this is what I'm seeing of you, then that's what you measure as normal. And that's what, for me, as sometimes as females, I feel like they disadvantage themselves, because you then price yourself out of the market. Because the average person who's looking to build with you is saying that you're gonna cost me more out of pocket just to court you to get your time, versus me sitting with you and doing the relationship stuff, you know. So it's a tricky one. It's a difficult one. It's really a difficult one.
It really is.
I see.
But also, guys, you know, I understand the thing of saying pressure, but it's also self-awareness, guys. You know, if you are also gonna allow this pressure to get to you, or you know, you need to be also right yourself, you know. Because as much as you know, our partners demand this, but we just need to communicate, and that's also another problem that we as men don't do, is communicate truthfully or honestly or openly. You know, we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable and say, hey, this is me, this is Toilet Cruise, 5,000 a month, I can't take you out to La Parada every single time, but I can take you to Dopio Zero on a Friday every time I get paid. You know, that's cool, you know, but we don't do that, you know. And we also need to give the opportunity to the girl and say, as in, this is what I can do, you can stay or you don't have to stay. Imagine if I'm gonna coach you, sustain, it feels like I'm lying, you know. It just feels like I'm lying to you, you know, like, yeah, this is it. And obviously now the poor girl will also expect that. And we need to allow that. We should not allow the pressure to get to us as men. We need to be self-aware. That's very and understand what is it around us that needs our attention. You know, that's what I believe. No pressure.
But I agree with you.
I agree with you.
I agree with you. But you know what? As much as you need to be self-aware, and you know, there's certain pressures that unfortunately we can't change for now at least, you know. And one of those pressures that we can't change is, for instance, for myself, that is, I would rather, if there's one thing I want to do, is buy a house, right? But I don't want my woman to chip into that house, because that's where my masculinity comes from. That, you know what, I've started a family and I wanna handle everything. You know, I don't wanna, when it comes to that, I don't wanna be a modern man about it. You know what I mean? I really don't want to be a modern man about that. About a house, about certain things in the household.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather not be. You know, I need to put myself under pressure. You know, and then expect my girl to also put me under pressure. You need to ufaki mali. We need to buy groceries. We need to do this. We need to do that. And that's the kind of pressure I allow myself to be under. You know, feel willingly, without a doubt, because like I said, that's where my masculinity comes from. And as a man, you need to find the source of masculinity somewhere, somehow.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Some people, it's the way in which they walk. Some people, it's the way in which they speak to their woman. You know, some people, it's materialistic. You know, there's no wrong masculinity. The only wrong masculinity is when someone feels oppressed by it. You know, then that's where the problem. You know, even being submissive, there's no wrong submission unless it's taking something away from you. You understand? So with everything, there needs to be a cause and effect, in essence. You know, there's a cause and effect. So with that, I agree with you. You know, but all I'm saying is that I still need to feel under pressure to somewhat degree. You know what I mean? For me to push further, for me to acquire certain things for myself.
No, definitely. I think, you know, then that comes with the right partner. You know. You know, being self-aware, then you understand that this is the partner I need. This is the partner that can give me good pressure. You know, this is the partner that can force me to go to therapy. This is the partner that can force me to go look for a job. This is the partner that can not force me, but like pressure me to, you know, those are the pressures that you know.
Good pressures,
you know, definitely. And I guess, you know, pressure does produce diamonds. Pressure is good, you know. So, but the right pressure.
Kamo, you are soon launching your mental health organization for men. Can you just touch on a bit about that?
Oh, okay. So I started an organization called Men Love Men, just to focus on men's mental health. We as men don't talk, and we don't actually open up as much as we think we do. And I've created a platform where guys can go out in the wild, we normally hike and camping. You know, we go out in nature, connect with nature, and ask questions. You know, we ask questions. We check in on each other. We listen to each other, and we basically just hear about other stories about what other people are going through. Like previously, a friend of mine who lost his dad, he was speaking about how, you know, losing a father was, you know, and all of the guys who were there have never lost a father. So it was like a great experience. And for me, it was even a better experience because I was in that moment where my dad also just got cancer, and I was worried about that. I'm like, how is it going to be without a father, you know? But having friends who can open up about such things, having friends who can open up about their parents' marriages and stuff like that, it allows you to see that, you know what, we can be here together. I'm gonna be there for you. I'll be there for you. So the organization is basically just to ensure men, not just like this Brotherhood Friday, not Brotherhood. No, it's just to make sure that we are talking, we are going places, and and just connecting with nature also. Yeah, so it's about connecting with nature and being vulnerable as brothers.
Any final words from you guys? Final thoughts?
Yeah. How's it being a father?
Being a father is great. My setup is a bit different to the conventional setup. My partner has a child from a previous relationship, so me being with her before us having a son together, and then us having a son together, that also like contributed towards the dynamic shift change, because now there's a 4 turning 5-year-old who knows of his father being around, and there's an older kid. At the time he was 7, 8 at the time when I met him, so he was he knew that his parents weren't together, and his mom had, dated. But now there's this constant person who's around. So what's my interaction with this person? How's it gonna go? And in the beginning, he was reluctant because I was just a stranger, and it was time-based. It was one of those, for as long as he stays around, we'll be cool, And we've been at it for 5-6 years, I think it is now. And it's been challenging because now I've realized in the dynamics of the household setup is that us being together, a lot of my time and me being there has nothing to do with my biological son. It's more the older one, because now he's into that phase of being a teenager. He's into the phase of wanting to be cool, fitting in, and etc. So there's a lot more work that needs to go into there, that by the time the younger one gets there, it's, but my primary focus is the older one, given also because of the type of support you need and you require when you're in that space. Because I look at my upbringing from 12, 13 up until like 20. I needed structure in my life. I needed a father, I needed a friend, I needed a lot of things. And I know what I didn't get, so I know what to plug into, but at the same time, I'm not the type to say I'm gonna play on my dad's shortcomings and make them my positives. No, I need to gel it all together, because there's an element as well of just being a father, being a partner, and also being a provider. And being a provider doesn't also come from thinking I will do everything in the house, but there's certain roles that you need to play along the way, and it's been challenging, and it's a lot, because I know my biological son knows that I'm there. So my attachment, rather my concern over him and how he's gonna grow, is very little, because Mkona, versus the older one who now, even when I go pick him up at school and he introduces me to his friends as his father, and he's got a friend who doesn't have his father in his life, and he's like his closest friend. So whenever I'm there, like last week there was an incident of the kid being bullied. They took his Pokemon cards. So when my son went to go look for his bag, I was now dealing with this over here. And he later said to my son that, yo, thanks for your dad helping me, because I managed to find my cards. And you could understand that that's what's key, because now he can now relate to say, yo, I've got someone who's there with me full time, and I'm glad I can share it with him. So it's an interesting dynamic, but it's a tough one. But at the same time, being a father for me is probably the greatest thing ever. And I saw it with them two first, because Thami had a son relatively early. We were like really young when Thami had a son, so it was just foreign that we should get kids, but we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
And Kamo then had a son, like literally where we were like in the peak of our lives and having a good time.
Yeah.
Peak of good
literally
times.
with the peak of good times.
Careers, everything.
Like everything was booming, and in that moment it happens. And you can understand that, when it all happened, because I stood on the outside, I was like, okay, I'm next. But at the same time, I was like, I need to see how these guys move. And naturally, when it happened as well, there was a lot going on in my life at the time, and I, in that moment, I felt and could resonate with how they felt individually. Because Thami, on the outside, I could feel that he felt his youth was taken away from him. Because as his life was starting, you just out of high school, you just out of varsity,
just started working,
just turned 21, just started earning money, whatever, that's taken away from him. Kamo, at the time when his daughter was born, like life was as well moving. He was like literally on the cusp of like blowing up, and then that happens as well. And then it's like, so when it happened to me, I understood, and I said, it's all not that bad, because all you just need to do is you just need to roll with the punches. You just need to keep it going. And in keeping it going, that's when you also make a lot of mistakes, because there's a lot of unlearning that you have to do. And during the process of unlearning, there's stuff that there's people, there's unfortunately also as well, I realized being a father, there's a lot of people that are in your ear all the time, wanting to tell you what to do, how to do it. And some people are family that you can now back off instantly to say, you wait. And there are some people who are generally coming to you, giving your voice a reason, but in that moment, because I don't have, like, funny story, there was a time where Kamo and I had to buy milk, tin milk, and we were comparing the price of milk to a bottle of Hennessy. I remember, and I was like, literally, like, this money could be going to a bottle of beer, but let's take it easy. And at the time, because he was there and I was there, it made sense.
Yeah.
But if I was with someone who didn't have a kid, I probably wouldn't have left the store with that bottle of tin milk. I probably went to a bottle store and bought a bottle of Hennessy.
Yeah.
So that's where as well you see that when you guys are growing up, even as friends, it's good to grow up together. And constantly pulling each other up, and eventually, you get to a place where you're all comfortable, because life is moving in a direction where we'll probably all go out as families and have our kids there.
Yeah.
Or we'll probably go out as guys, and each of us will have our kids individually, and we're sitting somewhere. Kamo's daughter will be there, old. Thami's son will be there, old, and my son will be there, old. And these people will be interacting on their own while we're sitting.
And they're cousins now.
And they're cousins now.
They are cousins now.
Oh, they are cousins. Yeah, they are cousins now. They've got probably siblings. Like there's just be a lot going on, and that's stuff that I as well want our kids to see. That, you know what, in the mix of everything that's gone on, my dad still has like a solid base, a solid friendship, a solid, you know, environment of people that he can lean on, and he can make sure it's fun. So fatherhood is challenging, I won't even lie. To this day, and I can tell it's not going to get any easier.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any easier. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to it, because it's just the growing that I'm getting out of it. And where it's taking me. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
the eldest father,
The eldest father. Yeah.
the youngest
guy.
brother,
Yeah.
the youngest brother,
The
but the
youngest
eldest
I'm older
father.
than you, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
No,
not.
he's not.
I'm turning 31.
He's turning 31.
Yeah.
Number 91.
No,
Yeah.
Number 91.
91.
You're the youngest
Youngest
one.
brother, the
2008.
eldest father.
Tell me 2008. Yeah.
Yo, look, gosh, yeah, fatherhood. Like I'm probably gonna about the direct opposite of what Gcobani said, because everyone I think has different fatherhood experiences.
Yeah.
You know, so with mine it was quite different, and it was a pivotal time in my life, age of 2021. You know, and it didn't even help that my son was born on my birthday. You know, so 2021, I was dating the mother of my child. But we weren't serious, man. Like, we hadn't planned on having kids or anything like that. It was just it's a mistake, baby, you know. It happens.
Don't say that. He's gonna
No,
watch
no,
this.
no, it's normal. You need to
unplanned.
normalize it.
Normalize.
Normalize it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It's okay. Like, most kids are unplanned either way, you know. So, okay, for lack of a better term, then, you know, let's say unplanned baby, and for me it was challenging. And the reason why is because I didn't have a baby mama that was understanding. You know, she wanted the best of everything with the little that I had. You know,
Yeah.
she wanted to have water birth, which she got.
That's a funny story. I remember what you went through for that water birth.
For that water birth, you know,
Yeah.
it was quite challenging. It was quite challenging that you had to conform to this concept that is so unfamiliar and foreign to you. You know, water birth. Like, what on earth is that?
What do we go to the hospital? What's my bar?
You know, that's where I think the conflict started. You know, the conflict between mother, my child, and I started there, and it's never been the same since. You know, from that point where you realize that this person wants something that's so different to what you want. You know, what you think is normal to her is not normal at all. You know, but then you also understand that where she came from, or where she comes from, you know, she got traumatized where she wanted what's best, which is also fine. She wanted what's best for her children. You know what I mean? Like, the mother of my child came from an impoverished background. So everything that she wants for the child had to be top tier, you know. And that's where the disconnect happened between her and I. Needless to say, we broke up while she was pregnant, you know, because of what she wanted. I wouldn't say demands, you know, like, because that's what she wanted and that's what she thought was best.
Yeah.
You know, broke up and co-parented for the longest of time until she found a partner. I also found a partner, and it became very hard for her to comprehend that I've actually moved on, you know, till today, like.
Which is an actual thing.
It is,
Yeah.
with women,
It's a
yeah.
big thing.
It's a big
yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
it's a big thing,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate that they use the child as a weapon, you know, a weapon of separation, you know, because they know that, I mean, that's your child, you know, you possibly do anything for them, you know, and they use that as a weapon to either get you closer or to repel you against the child, you know. But yeah, needless to say, like, I still talk to my child over the phone. Unfortunately, I don't see him as much as I'd love to, you know, because of the restrictions that she's put in place, and you know, and even with those restrictions, it's like, I'm a Soweto guy, she doesn't want the child to come to Soweto because he's going to be exposed to drugs and it's a whole entire mess, you know. Yeah, like when they say baby mama trauma,
me myself included, and I'm like apparently the, you know.
Yeah, but there's one thing I learned is that, and look, I'm not trash talking her.
No.
Like I understand where she comes from. You know, we were young, both of us were young. She was a year older than me. She was 22. I was 21. Parenting came at a very uneasy time in our lives, both our lives. I had just gotten a job, you know, so I didn't really get to enjoy that period in my life where I could just ball out and you know, at the age of 21. The day I turned 21,
there was a child.
There was a child, you know, I had to be in hospital at that time. So it really,
on your birthday.
Yeah, for me, traumatized me, you know, that, at such a young age, all of that had to happen. It wasn't planned. And to top it all off, I've never wanted, because of where I come from and how I was raised, I never wanted to co-parent, you know. I've always wanted to have a white picket fence family with a cute dog there, you know. I've always wanted that for myself, you know. And then this happened, it caught me off guard, you know, and how it happened as well, you know. It really caught me off guard, but I learned so much from it, you know. I learned responsibility at a very young age in my life, you know. And when I think about it, like, I've had to be responsible from a young age, before being a father, right? When my mom had to cut me off and say, I'm not going to give you an allowance anymore. You know, from school, I had to now make ends meet for myself. You know, she paid for the school, she paid for the necessities, you know. But when it came to pocket money, there's a point in time where I had to just do everything myself. When I thought, nah, I'm done with that, I'm in varsity, still carried through. 21, now there's a kid, you know. After that, now I still have to hustle for this kid, and I have to, you know, make ends meet for this child. And, you know, so my life has always been I've always lived like a responsible life where I had to provide to somewhat extent, whether it's for him, whether it's for people around me, you know, but I've always been that person. So I'll give credit to being a father, you know, for that. The person that I am today, how responsible I am, trying to, if I start something, I need to finish it, you know. I give credit to being a father, you know, that I'll give credit to. And I've also learned that, if you're gonna date someone or you're gonna fall in love with someone, you know, at least be prepared for anything. If you're gonna start off, if it so happens that she falls pregnant, be ready for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Be ready and choose a person. Like, don't temporarily date someone. Yeah. You know, don't, because anything can happen. Next thing, you find yourself in the same situation, and history has a very weird way of repeating itself. You know, so if you're gonna date wholeheartedly, be conventional about it, you know. Be intentional about it, you know. And like I told myself as well that the person I'm dating now, you know, I first need to get married to, you know, the things now, you know, I first need to get married to, you know, the things that I didn't do then. And I thought that, like the pill, you know, something as small as that, like the conversation we had earlier on, sitting there and thinking as a guy, you're not responsible for it. It's her problem. Until shit hits the fan. It's your problem. And then, until it's your problem, and then you're just like, what do I? You know what I mean? That period is late. Yeah. And as a guy, if you want your child to be a responsible person, it needs to start with you. Yeah. You know, and I'm still learning how to be a better person, how to be a better man. You know, you might take them for granted, isn't it? Like having to set your alarm for your girlfriend to take the pill, you know, but it shows that you're also responsible enough, and you guys have the same vision. You know, you want the same plans for each other. You don't want an unplanned child, you know. So you too, as a man, need to play the role. You know, you can't go for a vasectomy. The least you can do is at least set a clock on your on your phone, you know, to remind her as well that so that you don't find yourself in the same situation. Because with Uluazi, my son, my ex-girlfriend was on the pill, you know, and for me, instead of having to some degree, I kept on pointing the finger with, you've trapped me and but then I realized that I also had a huge role to play, you know. And the role was for me to actually remind her that, have you taken the pill? Have you, because she's not alone in this thing, and that's the biggest lesson I've learned, that amongst others, that plan and be part of it. Don't ever think because you're not taking the contraceptive, therefore you're not part of it. You have just as much of a responsibility to play, and to assume as much as she does. So it's really made me a very responsible person as far as that goes, that you have to plan and be part of it. If something does happen, then you know that you tried your best, and therefore it's time for you to man up and be responsible instead of having to point fingers. So second child, definitely not out of wedlock. I can't have a second child out of wedlock. I really want white picket. I still wanted a white picket fence for my child where both parents are in the house. Even if it's, my girlfriend also has a child, and now I have to assume position at some point. And hearing people like Gcobani speak about their experiences, it's knowledgeable, and you can having to know that there's someone that's so close where you can learn such a good skill and have such a big heart to take over someone. I've never thought that you'd be a stepdad.
No, none of us thought. Nobody thought.
But you stepped up. You stepped up. But it also just it shows that growth is not perfection. Growth is not the white picket fence. Those jabs you're talking about, it will throw those jabs at you. You just have to take them. You have to take them, roll on them, and learn. Most importantly, learn from them. Life is not perfect. Life is not perfect. You're always learning, and what better way to learn from people that are close to you? Like, okay, this is how you do it. So that's what I've learned mostly from fatherhood.
Well,
raising a daughter,
raising a girl child has been,
rock star.
She's so
to give you
cute.
context, my daughter wants to be a rock star. Well, it was career day and she wanted to be a rock star. I was very surprised as well, because I'm like, what? I was very, chuffed about it. I was like, the apple fell right here. It fell on the branch. This is and I was really happy about that. And she wants to be a rock star. And the great thing was also that her mother was allowing of that, and the mother of my child is not a person she's not a rock star, she's totally opposite of me. And she's more very conservative, tulile, she's just relaxed, she's not like a rock star like myself. And it was really beautiful for the mother of my child to allow my daughter to actually, be whatever she wants to be, because knowing her, she stopped me from rocking. I'm joking. I'm joking. So man, my daughter was born. We conceived my child when she's 25. Just got the blue corporate job. Just got the medical aid. Just got the company car. I was good. I was happy. Everything was great. Funny enough, the day we heard, I was with you guys.
We come back
Durban, July.
Of community.
Yeah,
Which is great.
Durban, July, when we came back.
on the way back.
On the way back, she called me and she's like, yo, this is happening. And already I'm coming back broke because Durban, July. But hey, some people. It was exciting for me because I didn't know what to expect, and I was in love. Loved the mother of my child, was happy. We had never fought, and I was like, what, this is it. I realized my life needed a bit of responsibility, and I was like, this is it. And I was like, what, I'm taking on the job, and we're doing this. And I realized that actually, you don't need a child to have responsibility in your life. That's the worst idea.
The
worst thing you can think of, because it was a kubeg, it was a kubeg unresponsible. So we're gonna make mistakes, and I'm glad that I've got brothers to do that with, and raising a girl is amazing. You become softer as a guy, you become more vulnerable, you learn how to speak to your partner, you just and now understand what women go through because you have a daughter, whereas when you have a partner you're like, oh, come on, you can solve that out. But now your daughter looks at you for protection, your daughter looks at you for love, provide everything. They see the mother and like, yeah, that's my mother, that's barely weird. But when it comes to a father, it's more like, yo, you need to show up for me, and that's what I feel like I've been doing, just showing up for her. And it doesn't mean you have to get them the fanciest of toys, like Gcobani said, if having money means then let's have kids, but you need more than money to raise a child. You need that patience, you need that love, you need that tender, because they also need it. This is someone who looks up to you and says, hey, what's next, So
you guys make me want to have a child. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And you count all the other things that you're going on in your life, work, friends, partner, and you're just like, boom, your daughter or your son. And for me, it comes first, my daughter comes first. And unfortunately, yes, the mother of my child, we are not together. So yeah, that was also it's very tough, it's not easy, because also you feel like you've done her wrong, you've done her family wrong, you've done her wrong, and you will always want to try and make up for it. But unfortunately, sometimes you can never love enough, and sometimes that love is needed, and if it's not there anymore, it's not there. But yeah, we're still great. Co-parenting is amazing. One thing I realized about co-parenting as a father is, you just need to be there very financially, and you need to keep your promises. From fetching her, buying her that stock sweets, and also just finance. Making sure don't burden the mother of your child, because obviously that's also another burden that a lot of single moms are going through, finance. And they need us. Women need us in helping raise our children. So yeah, man, raising a good child has been amazing, and I'm enjoying it.
I think we can close it here, unless you guys want to say anything else.
In closing.
Yeah, in closing.
I think being a young father is something I'm very thankful for. If you'd asked me if I'd do it again, definitely I would. I just planned a few things, fix some of my wrongs, I just, but at the same time I'm not apologetic for them, because they've made me who I am today, and I've accepted that a lot of my learnings, my teachings from internal and external have allowed me to get to where I am. My mistakes have allowed me to become better, because now I look back on some of the things I've done and I laugh at myself, because it's, what was I thinking, and a lot of it now, when I look back at from when my son was conceived to everything that's gone up to my life up until now, one thing that's kept me going is being able to choose your own peace, to find your own space that you can relate with and hold on to, like, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, you find your candle of peace, you light it, and you just protect it no matter how things happen. And it's very key to be able to distinguish between earthly things that are bothering you and what bothers you at home, and once you can separate that, and it's something that I'm still learning to do. That's why now just choosing my family first, choosing myself first, choosing just choosing me and choosing what I care about is what's teaching me to understand and separate and differentiate between what bothers me externally and what bothers me internally, and how in the midst of all of that I still need to keep my little unit moving. So choose peace, but at the same time enjoy, appreciate your friends. I don't see the guys often, generally don't see the guys often. I think outside of me, Thami speaking this past weekend, probably spoken quite some time. I spoke to Kamo 2 weeks ago and we said we'd make time to meet. But I know whenever I do see them, it feels like I've seen them yesterday. And that's also allowed me to be in that way because I understand the dynamics of our friendships and the friendship that we all have and each other's lives. That everyone is busy doing something in that moment. So I'll never let someone who bumped into either one of them yesterday make me feel bad about not having seen them, because they might have had that small opening and they said, let me go out and go unwind, and it just didn't correlate with my schedule, so that's why I wasn't there. So but as long as we can all touch base with one another, see one another and just catch up, that's fine.
I don't have any words.
I got nothing to say, man.
I really don't, but yeah, like it's been a great talk, man, and yeah, verbatim what Gcobani said. Yeah, verbatim.
Yeah, man. It's what Gcobani said. Choose peace, and choosing peace is you yourself know what it is. So don't ask people what choosing peace is. Don't copy people what choosing peace is. So choose yourself and choose your peace. And yeah, as men who are going through it, like, ask people, ask your friends for help, and also gents, check up on your friends, check on your friends, and we all need someone to check up on each other. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you for making time. It was I know you guys are busy, so thank you for making the time for me and sharing and being men of example and growing up. Because as much as you guys have grown up, I've grown up watching you guys, and we've grown up together.
Yeah.
So which is lovely to see you guys as fathers, as men, as partners. Thank you.